All right, here are my top 10 qualities of a friend. And just so you know, just to preface this list, this one is probably in not a specific order. All right, there's probably just, I would dare so say that these are just 10 qualities. There's none more important than the other, but these are 10 qualities that I have for people who I consider my friend. And let's get to it. All right, my number 10 is whether I'm around you with a bunch of people or I'm not around you with a bunch of people. You cannot change who you are when I am, when it comes to me. When it comes to me. And what I mean by that is I can't tell you how many times I've been friends tight with somebody and one-on-one, that relationship is solid. Great. Tons of communication. And like there's not just like a weird energy, right? I keep saying energy, but there's not this there's nothing weird about it. Like it's great. But as soon as you get around other people, whether I'm there or not, the insults start coming. You start kind of talking down to me. You change who you are completely. That's somebody I cannot be friends with. And that's something I've dealt with, many times over in my lifetime. I had an incident several years ago where I had a falling out with one friend, and this all led to a falling out with another friend. But a guy who used to come up to me that I considered a friend, and he would say, "F that guy." All right, just like, oh, okay, that's great. But what drove me nuts, though, was that he was still hanging out with that guy. He would still go and be around and socialize with this individual. And that was confusing to me because why are you saying F that guy to me and you're still spending time with him? So obviously maybe you don't feel that way about that individual. And two, are you saying the same thing when you're hanging out with that guy about me? This was I've been around a lot of people like this, and I've cut all of them off. If I can't trust, if you're different depending on who you're around, there's no trust there, and I just cannot and will not be your friend. Acquaintances maybe. But those are the kind of people you want to have at a bit of a distance. I don't want to be around people who's only like they just don't know how to be friends with people. All they do is know how to just talk about other people and talk about just insult people. Like this, I can't vibe with that. I'm around too many people like that, and I don't enjoy it. My number 9, have to have a positive and optimistic mindset. Okay? I want to be around, like if I'm around people, I want to be happy because I'm a sponge. I'm an emotional sponge. If I'm around negative people, it will drag me down. And this happens all the time at work where I'm surrounded by people who complain, and don't try to do anything better. If they hate their job, they don't go somewhere else to find something better. I'm around it all the time, and it gets to me. It wears me down. But I have to be around positive and optimistic people. And that doesn't say, like, if you're having a bad day, you can't come and tell me about it, because I will listen and I will offer, an ear and support. But if just about everything that you do that comes out of your mouth is negativity, I can't be around that. It drags me down. I don't want energy leeches. I want people to be positive and like build me up, right? Like I want to be able to conquer stuff and things, or at least feel like I can. And I can do that around positive people. And my core group of people now are mostly positive and optimistic. I caught myself being negative a couple months ago. I was really having a bad December. I won't go into it. But every time my friend Johnny would send something in the group text, I'd have something negative to respond to. And I was like, oh, damn. Like I really sat back and thought about it, and I've tried my best to change, and I think I have. But I want to be around people that just are happy, right? They're happy when I'm around. They're upbeat, and there's that residual energy is just it's intoxicating, like that residual positive energy. But I don't negative people all the time. Can't do it. Especially like there's so many people who complain about things that they can change and decide not to. And there's a lot of people who complain about things that they can't even control, which is like one of the that drives me nuts too. They're both really bad. But positive, optimistic mindset, that is my number 9. Number 8, I love goal-oriented people. Again, iron sharpens iron, right? We are who we surround ourselves with, and we can build each other up together. The stretch where I was talking about, where I was working 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week of work, I was around people who hustled and got stuff done and earned a lot of money and had nice things. I was around those people. I talked to those people. I picked their brains about their mentality. I also think working 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week is insane, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't enjoy the money that came with it. But I need goal-oriented people. All my podcasting friends, actual friends, are people that we're growing together. Like there's some end game. There's something that they're working towards. Dan, who I love dearly, he's a theater. We're still podcasting together, but he's on like a comeback theater tour. Like he's doing auditioning for all these different shows, and he's doing a really cool one right now. And I've been meaning to check it out, but I just haven't had the time. But even though I can't be there, I will emotionally support you and cheer you on as best as I can. Brian, he's doing like what I do. He does crafting and drafting, which I'm very thankful to be a part of. He's building up his YouTube page, and he's really focusing on the video content. And that's something we can, he's working towards. And I can vibe with people like that. I can. And the goal-oriented is so contagious to me. And I made reference to my middle school group about how just not goal-oriented most of them are. And that's not a good environment to be around. Nobody can thrive around that unless you sit back and realize that, this is wrong. This is not what I want to be. Number 7, it's having respect for my time. There are a lot of people who just feel entitled to your time. I'm going to get to another one, like a certain subject in a little bit, but they think like the whole world and everything kind of revolves around them. Like if I don't drop what I'm doing to be a part, to do what you're demanding right now, then like you have no respect for my time. All right. There are also people who have no problem canceling plans. This is the aspect of this of not respecting my time that it drives me nuts. I have been a very busy person all my life. I have, again, school, work, relationships, and my hobbies, right? My various hobbies that I've talked about plenty of times over. So if we get to the day of, or we get to the final like hour, a couple hours before, and you cancel, usually that's okay once in a while, right? Life comes up, life happens. But if it's a repeated offense, if it is a repeated habit, I cannot be friends with you. I've stopped reaching out to folks who have done that and thought nothing of it. If you have a scheduling conflict and you're always choosing the other thing over myself, then what am I doing here? I'm sitting around waiting, excited to see you, and you thought nothing of just canceling plans. Hate that. Absolutely. Like, can't stand it and cannot be around people like that. Again, things come up, but if it's a frequent habit, it's a wrap. Number 6, it's a one-sided effort in meeting up. And I've lost friends over this too. I've been close with so many people, and after a certain amount of time, it just gets harder and harder to spend time with them. Life happens. We grow up, we all get jobs, we get busy. But if there's like a one-sided effort to see somebody, I cannot be friends with so-and-so. If I'm always inviting you to stuff and you can't be there, but if you're always inviting me to stuff and I'm making effort to be there, something ain't right. Something is not right. And I can't deal with it. I can't be putting forth all the effort. And it took me a very, very long time to realize this. When you're texting somebody to hang out, and this goes with, seeking out relationships too, like girlfriends, boyfriends, significant others. If you're the only one making the effort, then something's not right. And this is something it's got to be cut off. So one side making all the effort. I don't want to just see you when it's convenient for you. It stinks. It really does, and it can leave people feeling like less than, especially when you see individuals spending time with other people. It really can. My number 5, and again, this has no specific order, is there's got to be some kind of common interests. Okay. Brian, I will give another reference. My buddy Brian, very, very passionate Buffalo Bills fan, and we're growing together as far as our love for football and whatnot. But there was a point early on in our friendship where it got really bad, and we've talked about it. I don't want, Brian, if you're listening to this, I don't want you to think I'm like burying you at all, but it's a very important lesson. If I take away Buffalo Bills Brian, I still have Star Wars Brian. I still have Family Man Brian. I still have Podcast Brian. I still have pop culture, video game Brian. I have all these different layers. The common interest is a nice bridge, and we're probably going to be doing a Mirrorless Monday episode soon, maybe even as soon as next week, about something along those lines. I'm not saying that we have to have every single thing in common, but there has to be some layers of interest there. It's not going to work. It usually doesn't. All right, my number 4 is you have to be there when it is important to me. And vice versa. I'm guilty of all of these things as well. I have failed extensively at a lot of these things, as I've already mentioned. But be there when it is most important. Let me pull back the Matt Johnson curtain just a hair. I hate celebrating my birthday. And I will explore that when it comes time to my birthday, because we are going to do a birthday-specific episode. But I hate celebrating my birthday, okay? And so I don't usually do this. But there was probably 2 years in the last 15 years that I openly wanted to celebrate my birthday. And it was my 31st and 32nd birthday. Having the studio that I used to, I set up video game nights. There was there was a Madden night for my 31st and just an open video game and chicken wing potluck, we called it. I think it was Wingsgiving, we called it, where everybody brought chicken wings. That's all you had to bring. You didn't have to bring a gift, just bring chicken wings, which is a really fun concept. And I was blown away positively and negatively in this regard. It was basically as much as I was like, okay, let's celebrate our birthday, it was kind of like I'm not going to say a trap, but what do we call it? A case study. It sounds kind of heinous, but I wanted to see who was going to be there for me when I asked them to be or needed them to be, and who wasn't going to be. Now, the caveat of this is that I left it open invite. So on social media, which most everybody who I care about has it. So I would post about it. Okay, for months. Here, open invite birthday party. This is what we're doing. Wingsgiving and video games. And it was open invite. I don't like inviting people specifically to things, to certain things. You have to. But I want to see who's going to willingly be there when not directly asked. I feel like being directly asked, there's almost an obligation. But if you open invite, you'd be surprised who comes out for you. And I was blown away by those who did. A little less shocked by some who didn't. But people who wanted to be there for me, be around me, were at those evenings, at those occasions, celebrating my birthday with me. And it was basically a test. And a lot of people failed, but there was a surprisingly great group of people who passed that specific test. So be there when it is most important. It goes both ways. If you want people to be there for you, you have to be there for other people when they ask you to be. But yeah, the right people showed up for all of those events, and that's what I tend to look at positively and who I give my energy to as best as I can. Number 3, I have to feel like I can be myself around you. If I have to put on a phony face, phony personality, it's not good for anybody. My group of friends, I can talk about things with. I don't have to filter myself. I can love what I want to love, dislike what I want to dislike, and I never have to feel bad about it. And it has taken me many different friend groups to do that. All right? It has taken me many different friend groups to have to get to that. But I will always say that my current crop of friends are the best group of friends that I've ever had, because it is. I've worked for that. I've worked towards that. And I've never had a question where I stand with the current crop of individuals that I talk to on a frequent basis. So thank you all for that. My number 2 is transactional relationships. They are no good. They are no good for anybody. Here's a test. And, well, here's a story first, and then we'll discuss the tests. Obviously, you can see I'm very cynical, and I love testing testing people and friendships. I hate driving. Here, another pull back of the curtain. I hate driving because since the day I got my license and got a vehicle when I was 17, 18 years old, all right, people have used and abused my ability to drive, and it drives me nuts. People would only hang out with me because they get rides, and if I care about you, I will give you a ride. But also, if the only reason that I get to see you is to benefit you by giving you a car ride somewhere, then that's not good. It's not healthy. It's really not great. I've had several individuals over the years, and I mean several, who have taken advantage of this fact. The fact that I had a car and I worked hard for it. But the only time I'd see them was giving them a 20 to 25 minute ride somewhere. All right. And no gas money, never asked for gas money, but that was the only time I seen them. And, after a couple times I was like, all right, this is getting to be too much. I got to cut it off. So this is the test. Withdraw that transaction from your friendship and see if that friendship still maintains. All right, because I can tell you, as soon as I stopped giving this individual free rides, I never heard from them again. And it's happened to a lot of people. And I also because if you do it a couple times, generally that's a nice thing to do, but also it starts to become expected, and it's like this requirement of your friendship, and that's not healthy either. So transactional relationships are not good because there's usually one person burning burning the candle out. They're just burning out. There's one person that's giving their all, and there's somebody else who really isn't. It's unfortunate, but my current crop of friends, give a ride to any single day. Don't be afraid to ask. All right, my number 1 is communication. Communication, and it kind of ties in with the number 3 one that I mentioned, but if I am messing up, please tell me. I want you to tell me in a delicate way that I am not being the friend you need me to be. I've lost many friends with no communication whatsoever as far as who I am. And that has in turn led me to think that it's okay to do that to other people. I want that communication. I want to be held respectfully accountable for who I am and how I treat you. And that goes vice versa. If I can't call you, if I can't talk to you about an issue I'm having with you, or just an issue, there's something going on. If you get very defensive, if you get upset, then there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I like to be held accountable. But I also have to feel the need. If I can't if I don't feel like I can hold you accountable on the same token, then this is a one-sided relationship, and this isn't going to work. But if you're messing up, I have to feel the need I can talk to you about it so we can make things right. I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty sure, I've done a couple reshoots of this video, but I would rather work hard to maintain something than have to, a couple years down the road, have to work hard at trying to repair it in a relationship. And something I've had to do too many times. But I want that open level of communication. Hold each other accountable, be able to talk to each other about just about anything that's on our mind with each other. And we could be friends. But that is it. That is my top 10 qualities of a friend.